The hailstorm in the UK in 2012 was a terrifying sight that left a lasting impression on the minds of those who witnessed it. The rumbling sound was like a constant pounding from the sky, making your mood become confused and uneasy. You could feel your heart beating faster, your body tensing up, and fear rising as you realized that there was nowhere safe from this hailstorm. Each falling stone is like a piece of chaos, making you feel surrounded by helplessness. The surrounding objects, from cars to trees, are mercilessly destroyed, making you realize that you have no control over the situation. The feeling of panic and tension increases as you witness the relentless destruction and are unable to do anything to stop or protect what is precious. The stones fall at terrifying speeds. When they hit the ground, the sound is as loud as firecrackers, and the stone fragments fly everywhere, creating a chaotic scene. Roofs are severely damaged, windows are shattered, and trees are destroyed beyond recognition. Looking outside, the scene was a picture of devastation. Streets were littered with broken roofs and glass, flooded with rainwater and debris, making travel nearly impossible. Vehicles were badly damaged, with cracks and broken glass showing the extent of the storm's impact. Hail can cause severe and lasting damage to trees, affecting their growth, health, and productivity. The extent of damage can vary depending on the intensity of the hailstorm and the type of tree, but the overall impact can be significant and require a long time to recover. Storm Eunice, one of the most powerful storms to hit the UK in 2012, left a lasting impression with scenes of devastation and strong emotions. Winds of more than 100 mph, 160 km/h, swept through the streets and residential areas. It felt like a giant tornado was sweeping away everything in its path. Billboards, roofs, and tree branches were blown into the air, creating scenes of chaos and destruction. Streets were flooded by heavy rain, combined with strong winds, making movement almost impossible. The fierce wind blew through the streets and residential areas like a giant tornado. These winds not only made a loud roar, but also created a tornado storm, sweeping away everything in their path. It felt like the heavens and earth were turned upside down, as objects were blown away and collided with each other with unimaginable force. As the storm raged through, the devastation was unforgettable. The strong winds, like uncontrolled tornadoes, whipped trees, breaking them and leaving them strewn across the ground. The branches, once green and resilient, were now severed and scattered everywhere, creating a chaotic scene. On the dock, the boats were tossed about violently, like helpless toys before the wrath of nature. The mooring ropes were stretched and loosened, unable to hold the boats, causing them to collide violently with each other in the dock, creating a constant rumble and shock. On the streets, cars that had been parked quietly were blown over, flipped over, or pushed out of place by the strong winds. The vehicles were toppled and scattered across the road, along with debris and other objects that had been swept away. The scene not only showed the devastation, but also evoked a sense of helplessness and fear in the face of the irresistible force of nature. As the storm waves crash onto the shore, the scene becomes majestic and powerful, giving people a sense of the terrible destruction that nature can cause. Here is a detailed description of the effects of storm waves. The streets were flooded by heavy rains, mixed with water from previous downpours and the devastation of the storm. The rain poured down relentlessly, forming deep, fast-flowing puddles that made movement nearly impossible. Rainwater splashed off cars and sidewalks, creating dirty puddles and reducing visibility. The storm waves rose and roared as they rushed towards the shore like giant, uncontrollable walls of water. They crashed into the shore with devastating force, creating a loud roar that echoed throughout the area like the roar of an ocean monster. As storm waves crash against the shore, they create powerful shock waves that send the sea surging like a wall of water. The waves break with tremendous force, shooting water into the air in white columns. The sight is both majestic and terrifying, with the swirling currents and the thunderous crash of the waves against the rocks and sand. As giant waves crash onto the shore, they sweep away everything in their path. Sand and rocks are washed away, eroding the shoreline and changing the landscape. Beaches become flooded, while coastal structures such as bridges, docks, and residential areas are surrounded and destroyed by the sea. Storm waves can even topple structures and infrastructure, leaving behind scenes of devastation and destruction. When standing in front of the storm waves crashing onto the shore, you can clearly feel the power and destruction of nature. A sense of fear and helplessness spreads when witnessing the giant waves sweeping away everything in their path. At the same time, you can also feel admiration for the great and terrifying power of the ocean as it shows its strength and invincibility. When standing in front of the storm waves crashing onto the shore, you can clearly feel the power and destruction of nature. A sense of fear and helplessness spreads when witnessing the giant waves sweeping away everything in their path. At the same time, you can also feel admiration for the great and terrifying power of the ocean as it shows its strength and invincibility.